Earlier this year, we had spoken about our new MCP server in early trials with customers, and I'm pleased to announce that it will be officially launched right here in Europe and across the globe in open beta in June. This thing is a secure connector that links to your AI assistant, Claude, OpenAI, and others, and it links it directly to Ace and the Geotab environment. Now your AI knows about your vehicles, your assets, your operations. So why don't we see what Jan can do? Being new to Barcelona, Jan's been operating his HVAC business here only for a few months now. He's just learned that the Tour de France will be starting the race for the very first time right here in Barcelona with the Grand Départ. And while he's very, very excited about this, Sabina, he's also a little concerned about the disruption it's going to cause to his business. He wants to make sure that all of his assets are outside of those restricted zones well in advance before those bikes come through.
So Jan's been using Claude more regularly. He opens it up and he can see that easily he can connect to the Geotab MCP connector by adding it. He's also in full control of what he can allow Claude to do from an actions perspective. So the first thing we're going to do is give Claude a very loose objective. We've given some inputs that provide some context into the problem we are facing and what we're looking for. Jan asks it to come up with a dashboard that helps him to better understand and scenario play how his fleet will be impacted during the Tour de France race. He asks for it to connect his fleet's data to some real-world information based on how his fleets travel throughout Barcelona today. Now, behind the scenes, it's using a combination of Ace and MyGeotab's APIs to get Jan the answer he needs.
And what a beautiful dashboard Claude's created for us, right? It's looked at the few days around the start of the race, July 4th and 5th of this year, and based on where his current vehicles are at, it's scenario played which vehicles would be at risk due to closure zones and their proximity to them. So it's pulled all the details from the race, understood the geofenced areas day by day through stages of the race, and categorized vehicles at risk. And as you scroll down, you can see it's classified the risk for the diesel and the electric vehicles. And now, here comes the juicy stuff. He's asked it to do a scenario playbook for him. First in the playbook is pre-positioning his assets for the race. He's got 33 in a closure zone that could be pulled out, and he should reposition just outside of the zone. It's even understood Barcelona's ZBE low emission zones and recommended keeping some of the EVs in there so that they're ready to go once the Montjuic area opens up after Sunday night. And if you look at what it's done here, it notes that there's some units in the Tarragona area that are just west of Barcelona. In the event those are needed, it's highlighted that they'll be stranded there unless he forward deploys them to Barcelona by Saturday night.
Now this is great, Mike, but Jan now wants to send an email to be sent prior to the start of the race to notify him if any of his vehicles are in trouble. So leveraging Geotab's MCP connection, Claude will create the zones, create the rules, which will only be active from July 3rd onwards, and it'll then trigger an email notification to be sent if any vehicles are stopped in those zones prior to the race.
And just like that, he's done, just with a few minutes of work, no development required. And then Jan does something he loves telling people about. He pulls out a napkin.
A napkin?
Yeah, a napkin, kind of like this one here. He sketched out a live dashboard that he would want to have displayed right within MyGeotab.
So he takes a picture of that napkin, feeds it into Gemini, and because MyGeotab is built to be extensible by our customers and partners, in a few minutes, what started as a coffee-stained vision on a napkin will be a fully functioning add-in inside MyGeotab. So let's give Vic a moment here to copy the code. So he copies the code from Gemini, opens it up in MyGeotab, he saves the configuration, and once he does this, voila, a fully functioning add-in within MyGeotab. And you'll notice that it finds the zones from within the napkin, looks for vehicles in those zones, and understands that it needs to pull up the real vehicles and even creates links to those to the vehicles page within MyGeotab.
Remember that time when you'd scribble something on the back of a napkin and never did that idea really come to fruition? Well, the napkin to reality gap, it's officially closed, folks. Jan didn't wait for a sprint, a developer, or a 3-month roadmap. He just built it.